We are on the lunch break of the first day of questioning of the undercover police manager HN53, who was deployed as detective inspector of the unit between 1998 and 2005. Since the break, Don Ramble, as we returned, reminded HN53 that he was a career detective, and asked him that, would he be able to pick up and notice more things than most people, given that he spent so much time as a spy, as a handler of spies, and as a detective inspector in a specialist unit that was intruding into people's lives. He claimed, of course, that he was. But he was then asked about his knowledge and his ability to realize that how was it that he didn't pick up that so many of his officers were being deceptive? Why couldn't he have looked into it, given that they were hoovering up personal details from the population on an industrial scale? He said it would have been too intrusive to check on any of the undercover officers. That it would have undermined those officers who were doing a good job and weren't deceiving women into sex to have checked on them in any way. It was pointed out how easily he had discovered that James Thompson was behaving inappropriately, yet he wouldn't do any of those things with anybody else. He said there was no reason to, apart from with hindsight. After we'd gone through a number of the deployments of other officers, including Jenna, Christine Green, we got on to Rosa and the fact that she was attempting to contact Jim Boyling. We'd heard from John Webb, those people won't remember, that he was told in the December of 1998 that the management of the SDS was aware that Jim Boyling was in a sexual relationship with Rosa. According to HN53, he has no memory whatsoever of anything about Rosa trying to track down Jim Boyling. This is despite the fact that he wrote the summary reports about the fact that she was calling the office. It was ridiculous. He debased himself. It was pathetic. It was shameful. It was awful. Evelyn, what did you think of it?
Not much left for me to say. People trying to locate undercover officers, women who've been deceived into a relationship. There were several of them, in a short period after another. This is, like we've been told by so many managers before, a serious risk to the operational security of the SDS. The danger that the unit would be exposed. That was always most important in whatever they did. We've seen that over and over again. And now this HN53, who was a manager, who was present there at the time on the day that Rosa managed to call the office on 2 different lines. That's the biggest risk the SDS has been in ever, really. And he claims that he doesn't remember that. One of the reasons, he says, he was not so much involved in all the details was that he was out of the country, which we will get to, I suppose. He was working on Operation Muscat, which was trying to prevent that Helen Steele would find John Dines, who at that time had moved to New Zealand. That was such a similar case, such a similar danger to the unit, that it makes it even more unbelievable that he did not know about Rosa, about the relationships they were in. Emails from Rosa were read out to him that make it very clear, not only that she was in a relationship with him, but also how distressed she was. And he continues to claim that he didn't know they were in a relationship, and the fact that no attention was paid to the distress she was in. It's also disgusting.
I mean, it was made very clear. It wasn't just that. I mean, he claimed that he wasn't informed. He didn't know. He can't remember. He goes, "Oh, I didn't know. I can't remember. I meant to say I can't remember, not that I didn't know." But we saw it wasn't just that he was part of the unit at the time. He was the one who was working on this. He was the one who was authoring the documents that summarized what Rosa had been up to. It showed that he was across the detail, putting together information that had come from the emails, that had come from the phone calls, summarizing them, presenting them to be kept on file. He was the one who made the application for Rosa's phone billing records. this completely fictitious application that pretended that she was going to cause criminal damage and public order, and therefore because she was in a cell of the Reclaim the Streets in contact with violent activists. A completely nonsensical, fictional application, which he made. He claimed he had no memory of doing it, but he attempted to defend it. He defended it in the most pathetic way. He said, oh no, it was true. It is all true. And then when he was taken through it, his excuses for it were just laughable. In reality, those of us in the public galleries, laughed out loud at the ridiculous answers to the questions that he presented to him by Don Ramble. I have to say, Don Ramble, I think, is doing a very good job.
Yeah, so he first said that was information they had. They had from talk to Jim Boyling, but then it was pointed out that they didn't talk to Jim Boyling at this point because Jim Boyling was told not to contact the office when he was so endangered by Rosa. Then he said, we had to have the phone records because that's how we could find out what her plans were. So there was no evidence that she was doing all this. Step by step, it was pointed out to him that he was lying, that he was and it was cringeworthy. It was really so much oh my God, how is he going to get himself out of this wormhole? It's it was really painful to watch if it wasn't so funny.
He is incredibly lucky that Sir John Meeting has deemed to give him the anonymity and the voice modulation that he has, because quite frankly, how anybody could debase themselves in the manner in which HN53 has over the last 40 minutes or so is completely beyond me. It was so pathetic in the extreme. We had it repeatedly when he was shown the female antennae document that was written by Steve Tiddy that showed that the office was fully aware that both Jenner and Boyling were cohabiting with activists. He was trying to argue that up was down and black was white, that we weren't reading the words that we were reading on screen. That was bad enough. But as we got into the Rosa topic, it was just so pathetic. I mean, he did this layered defense of I don't remember, but it's right. And then trying to argue that what he said was perfectly okay and based on evidence, and that C Squad would back him up. An absolute nonsense, a real nonsense.
Maybe I should have seen that. That's a phrase he's using a lot as well. So he is maybe acknowledging a bit more than his colleagues that we've heard before him. Indeed, in hindsight, yes, should have, but he didn't. It's that phrase where they say we can't confront undercover officers. We can't even ask them if they had a relationship with an activist, because that would invade their privacy too much. And we couldn't go to the wives, because telling them their husband may have had a relationship that would invade their privacy or cause too much panic. It's it's going around in circles, totally ignoring the feelings and the distress and the invaded privacy of the deceived woman, as well as the wives of the spy cops. No thought was given to that at all, ever.
I mean, essentially, what HN53 is attempting to do is trying to convince us that he was ignorant in order to hide the fact that he has a complete lack of morality. It's very clear that his only concern was protecting the unit at the time, and his only concern now is protecting himself. It's shameful, quite frankly, to witness, and I don't know how the lack of self-respect in the way that he is presenting himself is, well, it's jaw-dropping, quite frankly. I mean, he is the last of the SDS who will be asked to give evidence to the inquiry. We have many more police to come and be questioned, but he's the last of the SDS. And in the past, we've always felt, oh God, they crescendo, don't they? That it always seems to be so awful by the end of it. And I thought, oh, this would be more of a whimper, I guess. But he has managed to excel himself really in debasing himself and make himself out to be such an awful human being. It's so pathetic.
Yeah, and then to think that before, by other officers who worked with him, We were told that he had a filing cabinet of a memory.
Well, he was
would
a
know
human filing
everything.
cabinet.
Yeah. So we were like, our expectations were, well, high is maybe a big word, but we thought he's the last one. He can't throw any others under the bus anymore, or there's no repercussions. But God, he is such a deception. And we've only had done one morning. There's like an afternoon and a complete other day to go with him.
Yeah. We've had some comments. Mr. Abney, as I'm sure many predicted, the false Ripper authorizations totally screwed HN53 and undermined the entire evidence.
Sure.
Completely, absolutely, completely. I mean, like, in a way, I mean, this is all just the death rattle, really. I mean, from what we've seen from the official documentation, there's nothing really left to defend. Again, from Mr. Abney, he knew it was incriminating, and he ended up revealing he knew all about the relationships that he had spoken to Jim Boyling. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that. But by attempting to defend himself on this one issue, he's shown that he had complete knowledge of all the issues. It's so blatant.
Yeah, it's like, let's go and have lunch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what else we're going to learn from HN53. He is here for, like, as Evelyn says, for another day and a half. There'll be more things for us to comment on, but I mean, it looks like he's going to spend this whole time going, I don't know, I can't explain why I can't remember, but I can't remember.
And I should have done that, but I didn't, and I don't know why I didn't, or it would have invaded other people's privacy. Well, anyway, like other witnesses have shown sort of a radical turn in the way they dealt with the questioning. So, let's remain optimistic.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks to everyone who's liked and shared these videos. It makes a huge difference. Again, there is no mainstream media coverage of any of these hearings. You won't find any reports in the newspapers or on TV. All you are left with is the likes of us, who admittedly are incredibly biased, but we make no apologies for that. Thanks for joining. See you in a bit.